haven't completely lost it yet, so I've got that going for me. Hi everybody, today I am going to be checking in with my Cultivate What Matters Power Sheets. I will be going over how April went and setting my goals for May. It's been, I know I said this the last couple of months, but it's been a month, man. We're in the process of selling our house and hopefully buying a new one and moving from Napa, California to Denver, Colorado. We are deep in it right now. I actually am filming this a little later than I usually do because I needed to wait for certain things to shake out. I couldn't set my goals for the end of the month until we got to this point, but now I'm in a place where I feel a little bit more comfortable setting my May goals, although there is really a lot that is out of our control in May, so we shall see. Before I start saying it for May, I am going to go over my April goals, let you know what worked, what didn't work, etc. The first thing I should let you know before we even take a look at my tending list for April is that shit happened and we had to adjust our timeline. Our original plan was to list the house mid-April and go on a trip to Denver basically last week. When I'm filming this, because of some things that didn't shake out right, everything got booted a couple of weeks. So currently we are, as I'm filming this, just a couple of days away from listing the house. It has been an intense couple of weeks, couple of months, however you want to put it, here in the Guentert-Baldo household. There are some goals on the power sheets that I just changed, and there are some that I just said fuck it and moved. So let's take a look at the monthly goals, I guess, to start with so that you can have an idea of kind of what I'm talking about, because I'm sort of rambling here, which is probably going to keep happening. So the first thing that you'll notice is that I basically just said fuck off to my giveaways and my Goodbye California spread. They were both lower priority for me this last month than everything else that was happening, and when I realized that it wasn't going to happen, I just decided to boot them both forward and let future Cindy take care of those because current Cindy had a bunch of other shit to do. I got the April content batching taken care of, which worked really well. Note that on my power sheets right now, I do not have List the California house completely filled in, and that's because we are, like I said, are a couple days out. We're finishing some final paperwork and that's going to happen. So by the time you see this video, it'll already be listed. Hopefully we'll already be deciding on an offer. Fingers crossed, seller's market does us good. Literally finished the mortgage pre-approval last night before I filmed this, so fuck yeah. I mean, we already had most of it sort of figured out, but we had to just send in the current paperwork, and it had just sort of kept falling behind with everything else going on. Luckily, the mortgage people that we're working with were able to make sure that we're good to go for when we need to shop for houses coming up in the very near future. Notice that I put on the house hunting trip reschedule. Like I said, I had already booked it and was so excited to have booked it, and then it turned out that we had to move it and I had to find out some more information both from our realtors and from my ex-husband. And thankfully, I was able to color it all in because it has been rescheduled. It won't happen until May, so it'll likely be on my May power sheets, but I had to change the direction of that goal because shit changes. And I wanted to make sure to emphasize that to you. Shit does change. That doesn't mean that you give up. You can. It's your fucking life. Do what you want to do. But being flexible and just rolling with the punches, especially in a situation like this, like a home selling and buying situation, like the ability to be flexible, the ability to shake it off and keep moving forward has, at least thus far, been an asset. And it is something that I am hoping to maintain because I am not always the most flexible. I tend to get very stubborn and set in my ways, and when something has to change, I will dig my heels in. It's where my 15-year-old gets it from. I'm trying really hard to not let that aspect of my personality dominate because, quite frankly, I don't have control over a lot of these things. And that's actually something I'm going to be thinking about, maybe not for the rest of this quarter, but when I do my quarterly refresh, rather than focusing on outcomes that I can't control, focusing on the things I can and hoping that the outcomes show up. That was completely vague. We'll talk more about that. I'm really not like vague booking. It's just sort of a concept that's in my head. We did finish the kids' rooms. We did use an update board. It was actually very helpful when we were trying to stage the house, and we're not using it every week, but what we are doing is pulling it out every time we have to work on something big. And I will tell you right now, both of my kids were fucking heroes when it came to getting this house ready for photography because Jesse was really swamped with work and I can only physically do so much. And Kat, who was sore from physical therapy and from their first dose of the vaccine, managed to help, and RJ was just a fucking champion. And you know, I might talk smack on my kids from time to time, but they're not bad, man. They are not bad. And then the all important documents one is just about filled in. There is one document I need to find. I talked about it on a recent live stream. My marriage certificate from my first marriage that proves my name change. Tracking that down has proved to be harder than I expected. I have an appointment this coming up week. I hopefully will be able to color that in, and I will post a picture of my tending list the day this video goes live. So if you want to know the end to the marriage certificate struggle, hopefully you will be able to see that, because current Cindy doesn't know about it, but maybe future Cindy will. Fingers crossed. My weekly action items actually went fairly well. At the time I videoed this, I hadn't finished filming it in, but the weekly vlog I did finish for week 4. I just didn't do it last week because I completely underestimated how much back-breaking fucking work was gonna go into getting this house ready for photography. I basically wrecked myself last week, so I didn't vlog. But I did vlog this week, and I mean, it's not being posted this week, but I vlogged. You'll actually get to see it, I think, on Thursday. So yay, thumbs up. I worked on advanced stuff for my patrons, which is specifically meant to be like a brick of stuff that I can put out on Patreon, schedule ahead of time when I'm moving so that I still have something happening there. It's something I want to make sure to do for the community there because I want to show up for them even when I'm taking a break. Does that make sense? Maybe? Question mark. Continuing packing has happened mostly in the sense of trying to get the house kind of ready for staging. We actually are at a point now where I think that the packing to actually move, we aren't going to be able to start doing until really close to when we move because we have packed up so much shit in this house to stage it. Like, my kids have very little left in their rooms except for like their computers and their clothes because everything else is packed up to stage them. So like, I don't know how packing's gonna look next month once we go into contract on a house. I guess we'll see. And family meetings, again, not as structured as I expected, but they have been happening where we're touching base more often than once a week. It's been happening fairly often between just Jess and I, between the kids and Jess and I, the kids and I. We're all touching base with each other as to what's going on and what's going to be expected where, especially as both kids have started to have more appointments outside of the house recently, and the chauffeur job has become one that I did not miss and is now becoming a thing again, and god damn it, why don't they have driver's licenses yet? Now my daily action items, I basically stopped giving a fuck about my daily action items. Let's be real here. I really was either in pain or overwhelmed or struggling or whatever, and I didn't care. The only 2 daily action items I stayed on top of was my Instagram stories, which I stopped tracking, but I think almost every day. There may have been one day I missed an Instagram story, but I've gotten into the rhythm of posting every day. Now, to be fair, if you're following my Instagram stories, you're probably gonna get a lot of my cats, but hey, they're cute, right? And then the other one is my steps, which is not actually on here. And I'm not even great at tracking my steps in my bullet journal, but just keeping an eye to see if I'm gonna hit 10K or not. And there were plenty of days where I hit like 8K. 8K seemed to be about my daily, my average, just from a non-math kind of remembering standpoint. But last week I kind of made up for it because I hit almost 20K twice getting this house ready to stage. And then I was a wreck for the rest of the week. So there is definitely overdoing it possible. But that's not even in my power sheets. I just put that in my bullet journal as my healthy habit. So I do need to go back and look at my app and fill that all in because I do want to show that I was tracking it. I do want to take a second and go over my month in review before we dive into May. People I'm grateful for, I already talked about my kids. Hella grateful for them for helping me out in this situation. And I'm also grateful for my patrons that are on my weekly hangouts with me on Sundays. There was one hangout I had to skip out on because Jesse had gotten his 2nd dose of the vaccine and we were so far behind on getting stuff ready for the house that I just needed the time. I also missed a live plan with me. You might remember that. But they have been there for me to vent at, which has been really helpful, and I super appreciate it. When it says good things that are happening this month, like, I will say this, my house looks absolutely outstanding. It doesn't really feel like my house anymore, and you can probably catch the echo in my voice because of the lack of furniture in this room, but like, it looks really nice. It's a cute house. I'm kind of proud of us, both for the cleaning and how it looks now, but also the work we did to make it look like this from the hot mess it was when we bought it. What did I read or listen to? So, I could barely remember. I've read some shit this month, but not very much. I did find the Pushcart War, which is a children's book I loved when I was a kid, and I fucking borrowed it on library, I think, Libby maybe, and I read it, and it was just as cute as I thought it was. It's meant to be like a historical story that happened maybe 30 years from now or something, about the trucks and the pushcarts fighting with each other in the streets of New York. Good times. And then I listened to my barf dancing playlist, which is the playlist for this upcoming month of May's lettering challenge, which you can find on my Instagram. It's Dancing Like Barf from Spaceballs. It's just been real groovy and it's been helping me out quite a bit. My favorite memories from this month, they're all vaccine related, you guys. They are all vaccine related. Let's be real. Jesse got his second dose at the beginning of the month. I got my second dose mid-month, and then last week Kat got their first dose. RJ's not old enough yet, he's still 15, but Kat is 17 and got their first dose of the vaccine, and having the majority of my household on the vaccine train it's felt really good. Let me just say, it's felt really good. Jesse and I are both sickly ass individuals, and getting some sort of protection from COVID-19 is a great memory for me for this month. The goals that are growing well, home goals and adulting goals, I feel really good about both of those. The other goals have been sort of like trickling right along, but I haven't really been focused on them. The home and the adulting goals have really been first and foremost, and the kid goals are going to really start coming to the forefront as well this next month, so I'm glad that they're going okay. And I'm choosing grace over guilt over my lack of patience. I have been hoping to have patience in this process, and I was doing okay until last week. My patience went bye-bye last week, and Jesse and I both were just, I was sniping at him and setting him off. I'm gonna be honest here. I started it most of the time. We're okay. We're totally fine. He recognizes what was going on, but let's just say I was not at my best this last week. We're in the gauntlet now of the listing offers, putting our own offers in, going into contract on houses. We're in that gauntlet as I'm filming this. I don't imagine I'm gonna have the greatest patience over the next couple of weeks, but I'm going to try. That's the best I can do, is try. And then this next month, I'm going to say no to procrastination because we don't have time for it right now. And I will say yes to enjoying our trip to Denver, which will be happening in May, and fingers crossed that we find a house. Now that I have gone over the month of April and let you know how that went, it is time to jump right into my power sheets for the month of May. I'm gonna do my best to set reasonable goals, considering that there are certain things that I just can't control right now. And again, I'm not good at letting go of control. I am actually, instead of using my Optimus fine liner, which is what I used to wrap up April, I'm gonna be using the Scribbles That Matter fine liner because I am going to be reviewing them soon, so stay tuned for that. But I wanted to give this one a good test, and this is a great way to. So I'm going to fill this out. Important to-dos in the month of May. We need to go into contract on both this house and a house in Colorado. Then need to finish packing and finalize our moving plans. Collect up all the medical and vet records. Finish all of the content for the move and make a list of address changes of our personal life and my business. I'm excited for our Denver trip, which is now happening in May. We're going to be eating from some of our favorite restaurants over the next month. Hopefully a day trip to the coast, even if it's just me, to get some pictures. I love Northern California beaches. They are not sun yourself and go surfing and, beach bunny Southern California beaches. They're rocky and craggy and cold and windy and tide pools, and I love them. And I'm going to miss them. Kat is going to have a concert. They're in 2 choirs this year, and I think they're doing it online, but they're doing a bunch of work on it this month as their final project, and I'm excited for it. Music classes this year have been really hit hard. Every class has been hit hard, but I feel like music classes have taken the extra hit because of the specifics of the COVID-19 virus. On my mind this month, obviously, it's the whole home buying and selling process. This shit sucks. That gauntlet is where we are right now, and it is making me a sad panda. And the kids' situations. They both have their own different struggles going on right now, which I'm not going to go into because it's not the internet's business, but it's been very much a heavy topic of conversation in our house lately. And then I'm hopeful that we get a house. Please, pretty please, hard eyes. Because god damn it. Once we get a house, the rest of the moving stuff can move forward. But until we get that part situated, it's like we're in limbo. Shitty limbo. I'm just going to ignore this. I'm not even going to make excuses for the calendar. I'm just going to ignore it. Okay, moving to brainstorm your month. I am going to do what I've been doing and go from monthly ideas to weekly ideas, to pulling them from the steps that I have listed here. And I feel like there was something I was going to add when I'm filming this over 2 days. And I think there was something I was going to add and I didn't write it down, and that was my own fault. So hopefully I'll remember it. We'll find out. But yeah, and I'm using my Zig clean color dot markers to coordinate and just cross things off and move things and blah, 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 blah. For goal number 1, the grow my community deeper and broader mini goal is incorporate moving content into all areas, which I've been doing a pretty good job of. But this last month, the 2 things that I didn't do were host giveaways and create a Goodbye California spread. I want to do both of those things, but Knowing myself, I wonder if I'm going to actually get the giveaways done, but I kind of need to because I don't want to take this shit with me to Denver. So, and that's basically because I don't really need to brainstorm Bujo and moving ideas. Like, we got that. Like, I'm just going to cross that off because I don't need to add more shit to my Bujo. We've got our moving binder, and I don't need to just add some rando shit. And these things, vlog every day, month, I have not done that, but I've been doing what I can, and will be continuing to post moving related stuff. So I'm going to cross both of those off because they're relatively okay. Document process. So basically for this particular thing, I'm just going to put those other two things back onto the monthly to-do list, except maybe I'll put giveaways on the weekly list. If I can do a giveaway each week, then that might actually be the situation. Goal number 2, my develop systems and sustainability in my business goal. The mini goal for this month was to take 3 weeks off to move. I've got little check marks next to these from last month because I did that last month, but I couldn't finish it because that's not a 1 month situation. But these are things that I should be able to finish this month. So finish all of the content, get the Patreon shit planned and scheduled, figure out the live stream replacements. So those are going to be my goals for this month. That's a lot of things, and I'm not really sure how I'm going to break that up. I think those might all be monthly goals because the Patreon should have been planned, but I need to schedule it. So maybe I'll chip away at the scheduling every week, but the batch of content is going to happen, I think, twice over the month of May. So for planning live stream replacement, it might be that I just don't do it. I just put up 2 videos a week while I'm gone. That may be it, but I don't know yet. That's something I need to think about in May and what I have the bandwidth for, all depending on, like, if it takes a while for us to get an offer accepted on a house, then I may have more time to batch, but then at the same time, our life is going to be a lot more difficult because we're probably going to have a gap where we don't have a house. So I don't know yet. We shall see. Goal number 3, my infuse all aspects of my business with creativity. This has been sort of a back burner situation. One of the things that I have been tweaking to help with my business is Notion. And I'm going to be making a video about this after I move, once I've gotten some handle on it. But I think maybe I need to add a couple of ideas to this in terms of, like, becoming a great vlogger is not really something that seems to be going the way I want it to, but there are other aspects of this goal that I'd like to work on. One of which is to create video ideas for after the move, like non-moving related videos. So both of these ideas, the refining Notion system and the making an updated video idea list, are both creativity related. They're not related to the mini goal, but the mini goal is kind of getting avoided. So I'm going to write this in gray because this is the one pen I'm using that doesn't have the pen tip on the side, the clean color dot single. So I'm going to put the updated video list on monthly goals and the refined Notion system on weekly goals. And not going to lie, part of the reason I've got this updated video idea list, which I think was the thing I was thinking about, is because of the planner anti-haul video I put up that is doing really well. And a bunch of you had ideas in it, and it just inspired me to really start thinking about videos for after I move, because I've been so focused on dealing with before the move that I had really put that out of my mind, and you've like rejuvenated me. So thank you. My kids' goal, empowering them to become adults with a strong sense of self, helping them through the move, taking pictures of them with their favorite spots, and arranging socially distanced friend time. The friend time thing we're going to try and arrange for this month. The cat will be fully vaccinated in the second week of May, and then 2 weeks after that. So we'll likely be arranging that for June when they're still here with their dad. Maybe what I'll do is a weekly goal of capture a Napa memory. That sounds so cheesy, but that really is a goal for them. Like, is it a favorite spot? Is it a restaurant or something? We'll make sure that if they're not with us, that I will at the very least either get one for them or talk to them to see if they can get their hands on something while they're still here. The Denver trip is basically like, I'm going to write that in the home color, but we'll add a kid dot to that. And then moving to establish a new home, house hunting trip, pack old house. We have to finish packing the old house, donate what doesn't sell. It's kind of going alongside the packing the house. What we have discovered is putting stuff out on the curb, it disappears. Like, so we're not even having a garage sale. So the Denver trip and the finish packing. And then for goal number 6, my physical health goal, get through the move without dialysis. This was one of the goals that took a massive hit in the month of April, as we talked about. So I really do need to go back to this. I'm not going to put fruits or vegetables with every meal because I learned this last month. Like, I'm trying to do better, but at the same time, I'm being realistic here. However, fruits or vegetables every day And you might be thinking, Cindy, shouldn't you be eating fruits and vegetables? Yeah, I should be. But there have been days where we have existed solely on DoorDash because we're getting the house ready to sell. So fruits and vegetables every day. H2O intake will go on my daily habits, and walking every day will go on my daily habits. I'm going to continue tracking my steps, but that's going to be in my bullet journal. And that's the wrong color. These are both supposed to be pink. 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 It's the wrong color because this is the health color. Going to 7th goal, my mental health goal, cultivate patience during this process. Whoo! Okay. Track moving progress. Have weekly meetings with Jesse and the kids to communicate. We should continue doing that, so it needs to go back on the weekly tracker. It's been working. Use achievement chart and whiteboard. I'm not going to put that on there because what we've discovered is it really is helpful in certain moments, but having one throughout the week may not be as helpful, although we may change that for one of my kids. And sitting outside each AM with coffee. What I'd really like to do is take like a 15-minute stroll in the morning with my coffee. Not the weather. It was hard this last month because it got really chilly. So we'll try that. And I mean, that also is my physical goal. Like, I'd like to go for like a longer walk each day, which will help with my steps, but also an AM stroll. I've noticed getting out of the house in the morning refreshes me. Getting out of the house around lunchtime actually really helps me refocus. So 2 walks a day is not unreasonable, especially if they're not like, jaunts. My final goal, cultivate big picture adulting practices. So like I said, I still have to cross. I'm not even gonna put this one on there because fingers crossed, my marriage certificate is where it needs to be when I go there on Friday. But I do need to collect the medical records, collect the vet records, and prep to change my address. Not necessarily change it yet. And new doctors and pediatrician, that's gonna be a June goal, I think. And changing the address is gonna be a June goal. But in the meantime, I can do all of the preparation. All right, so there's 10 monthly action item spots. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not full, perfect. There are 6 weekly action item spots, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so not full, perfect. And if you wonder why I'm saying not full, perfect, I've just discovered that sometimes I cram this full, and this is plenty of shit, so I don't need to feel too, intense about it. And then for weekly or daily action items, there's 7 spots. Actually, though, I think I'm going to take this fruits and veggies every day, and this one is going to be my bullet journal healthy habit on my year of healthy habits. I think I'm going to put it there instead of here on the tending list. All right, so now we know how we're kind of moving things over. Let's get this going. My encouraging words are the song Que Sera, Sera, whatever will be, because as much as I can be a little controlling, I cannot control this process. I can control our actions, but I cannot control the results. So I need to remember to just do everything that we can, not overly obsess. When you are somebody who struggles with control and letting things go, and you're going to be in a process where you can do everything right and you still are at the whims of everybody else doing everything right and what people decide, it can be frustrating. So I'm trying to just remind myself to know that we are going to keep trying and we will get a house eventually. And then my priority for this month is to go into contract on the new home. That's our priority. Hopefully it happens sooner rather than later in May. Because I wrote that for last month's priority, and neither of those things happened because of timing. So regardless, I'm going to get this all filled out, and then we will talk about it. Used the wrong fucking color again. Oh my God. I added a couple of strips of the Cultivate What Matters, like washi strips from their sticker book, and used the gold letters to spell out patience because that's what I need. And I used a little by little sticker as well, and just some blue to make it look pretty, but to also give myself some reminders of what I'm really trying to focus on this month. So what I've been doing is trying to use up this poor destroyed sticker sheet, and I've been utilizing these little leaves to mark the thing that if I do it, it will make me, even if it isn't my favorite thing to do, even if it doesn't feel like it, it will be the thing that will make my life easier and better in the coming months. And then I put my priority for the top priority thing on the list. The top priority thing on the list is the Denver trip. Hopefully it bears fruit. Not a phrase I use very often. Hella crooked. The lights kind of shine off the foil and make it hard for me to see what I'm doing. First world problems. My priority, Denver house hunting trip. And then the thing that will be the most helpful for me is actually going to be refining the Notion system, because the whole reason I'm like, we'll talk about this more in upcoming videos, but the whole reason I'm using the Notion system is so that when I can bring help on, it'll be a great way to onboard people. And it also is really working well for me and my brain. So if I can actually, I don't think I'm going to finish it this month, but if I can really work towards that, that will be something that will pay dividends later in terms of my sanity. So we shall see. Pour one out for me, my guys. I hope that you found this video interesting at the very least. And I would love to hear from you in the comments. Something you're working on in the month of May. Can be big, could be small, could be a thing like moving like we are, or it could be a tiny little personal goal, like maybe you want to paint your nails every week. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it so we can encourage each other. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and until next time, friends, peace.